welcome to another edition of everybody's favorite radio show. Even other radio hosts stop their shows now and listen to our show, and we couldn't be happier. Welcome, welcome, and as they say in the church, welcome. This is the Larry Conley Radio Show, and I'm not Larry Conley as usual. I'm Dave Conley, but I'm here to introduce our fearless leader. You know him, you love him, ladies and gentlemen. He's here with us, Deputy Chief of Training, Larry Conley.
Yeah.
All right. We got to beat our own fan base. Just some of the stuff we see in the crowd, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah, you do it, man. Yeah, you guys rock. Yeah.
Just pointing.
Yeah, and then we have to do the point. I see that on late night hosts. And I did that one time, but we was at a hockey game having hometown hero here with the St. Louis Blues. And at the time, my driver, Galen Taylor, he said, he would see me at other things and people would be clapping and I'll do the point like those talk show hosts do, like, yeah. So anyway, I said, I'm going to do that at the Blues game. When they recognize me as the hometown hero, I'm a point. And he was like, I double dare you. I was like, well, you should never do that to a firefighter. Don't dare them. So then I said, what section are you going to be sitting in? So he told me the section he would be sitting in. And whatever the section was, I found it. And when I came on the ice and it was like, tonight's hometown hero is Captain Larry Conley. He's blah, blah, blah. And people start clapping and all that. And I was, I pointed right at, but then when I pointed, I thought I was going to point and get away with it, like that.
That's the picture.
That's the picture. Somebody called. And now there's a picture of like, wow. So anyway, needless to say, Galen got the point, so. You're all weak, folks. Yeah, thank you. And good night.
Right. That's the other people saying good night.
Right. Good night. No, we don't see the point. You don't see the point at all. Right. But well, it's good to be back with you guys, the Glue Crew, my familia, the family. I know last month we did it with just me and the guests, and a pretty powerful show.
And I wanted to talk to you about that because you told us it was on one day, and then when Elaine and I showed up, there was nobody there. And come to find out, you had the show 2 days before. Just seems like
I thought you weren't going to discuss family business with everybody, but this is out there.
Recording now. Okay, we'll talk about that
later. I wasn't going to say nothing either about it.
Right.
I was going to keep it to myself about how you did things. And all that other stuff. To the curb. I wasn't going to say nothing about how you kicked us to the curb.
I just wanted to miss you guys for once. We've been doing this over a decade now. I just wanted to kind of miss you guys, and so it mission accomplished. I miss you.
Right.
Don't do it.
But I think it divinely worked out like it should. I mean, it's a safe space, and sometimes you can have too many ingredients in the stew. So I think for us to be able to share, and sometimes people sharing, the less people, the better for them, because they feel like, wow, I got to share in front of, I got this audience, and I got the millions of people who watch this podcast, and it's just too much, so it could be a lot. So I think what ended up happening is that it worked out divinely like it should. The right people were on the show for that particular moment, and it worked out good. And from what I've gotten on the emails, inboxes, and just running into people, period, it obviously touched a lot of people, and a lot of people felt or thanked us for sharing. Thanked us for sharing that really personal moment, and. And I'm glad we were able to. But we're going to have more shows similar to that. It might not be as in-depth as far as how much sharing we did on this show. However, we want to bring out the helpers out there. We want to bring up the point that people are definitely talking about this subject more. It's normalizing better now than it ever has before. We still got a long way to go, but we've come a long way. And with all that being said, you can't talk about this stuff too much. And we got a lot of great experts in the industry, and we got a lot of people who are who can help. I mean, there's a lot of firefighters and emergency workers. Period. They're living in quiet desperation, and and they want to know that somebody, I got you. Like we said in the keynote, I got you. And so if we continue to make that part of the making it comfortable to talk about or deal with something uncomfortable, then it's going to be a lot better for everybody in our industry, people we know and people we don't know. We had a call today in Collinsville, pretty traumatic. Well, two of them last couple of days. I'm not going to get that deep because I don't want to mess up HIPAA and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, one was a fatality and one was a loss of a body part. And in 2 days, you can't unsee that kind of stuff.
Right,
and
and not have a reaction or whatever.
Yeah, but somebody, just a normal day, normal Thursday, and a normal Thursday, and next thing you know, not here anymore. And the weird thing, I was coming to work, and oddly, it happened, and weird stuff like that doesn't happen to me over the years. Period. Where I could be on that road. And then in the emergency vehicle and on that road, that's where the tragedy happens. And I was like, oh, I got to respond, So, and you show up and you're like, wow, what? Out of all the roads I could be in the area, I'm on that road, And when I showed up, the person was deceased already, but it's horrific. It's just a horrific scene when I showed up. So I'm saying all that to say is that we see stuff like this all the time, and seeing it and seeing how fast, how quick that kind of stuff can happen. You can only put it. I think God only gives you so many compartments, and you fill all them compartments up, and they start to overflow. It becomes a hazard material, hazard material scene. It becomes a blip. And for those of you who know who are in emergency service, what I'm talking about, what a blevy does, blows when it's too much, So we just have to continue to get better to manage that and unpack a lot of this stuff. So we'll be having more dialogue about it in the coming shows, and a lot of it is centers around what David and I have talked about. We kind of stumbled upon it talking about our personal leadership brand, and that personal leadership, a huge part of that personal leadership is just mental fitness. And we work out physically fit. We work out. People look at their body in the mirror and, I got it going on. I can do this. And I'm ready. I'm physically ready to do whatever is required physically on the fire ground. But I wish I was a cartoonist, and maybe Paul Combs can do this. But you know how, like, in the image in my head, because I think it images, and that's why David's such a great movie producer, because he think it images too. And and the image that I have is like, how you at the gym, you're in the mirror, you're like, oh yeah. Ooh, yeah. There should be something to where you can look at your brain and see some image of fitness. It's like you see where you are, and then as you're getting stronger, it's like, yeah. This brain, this brain is getting fit. Yeah, baby, this brain is doing it. And you can see it because we get inspired when we see their progress. You done lost weight. You can feel some clothes. You can flex. You can wear that tight shirt or whatever you want to wear, and you can flex your muscles, and so you're inspired to keep doing it because you do it. Then you start eating better, you drinking more water, and you're doing all because you start seeing the progress. But unfortunately, since we can't see our brain, I know we can feel it, and we spiritually we know what's going on, but we can't. We don't have the same visualization. But we can find a way to get that visualization. Yeah, you know what I'm trying to say. Well, you can see it.
Right.
Words I can't say.
Visualization brain stronger. Maybe we can get these words out. You know.
What is in this Diet Coke? What is in here? Visualization.
But no, really. I mean, some kind of way.
2 words I can't say. You know. But
yeah.
But some kind of way
we can start doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a way, so you know, where you could just see it like, oh man, I'm inspired by, you know, the image of that, you know. So anyway, that's kind of what my sick mind thinks about sometimes, you know. And some people's mine might look like they're on life support sometimes, but we gotta do better, you know. But we
And sometimes people that have gone through stuff think nobody knows how they feel, or nobody, you know, understands. And so then when you start hearing something like this, and especially in your professions,
right,
and they hear it and they say, "Oh, somebody does get this," you know, get me,
right, right. Well. So hey, we'll keep talking about it, and I'll get off that soapbox for a minute.
But also before you do, even though we'll keep talking about it, I mean, we should be also making sure that people know we encourage you to talk about it. It's okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For you to talk about it. You know,
don't wait till the show to talk about it. You know, do it amongst yourselves. You know,
let the show be an example, but it should be a thing that you know you can talk about with your colleagues, with your friends, and you know, and all of that. You know, so,
absolutely.
Tonight we were supposed to have on the show our fearless leader. David Rhodes, and Chief Rhodes has been sick and kind of feel good and came down with something that's got him in the bed. So we didn't want that image. We didn't want him doing something from. Hey guys, David here. How's it going out there? You guys healthy? You know, so we didn't want that. Then we said, you know, David, you know, why don't you just take it easy? But you got a big show next month. You know, you want to be ready for it. You know, so anyway, our prayers are going with David Rhodes. I know the advertisement that you see says that he's going to be on the show, but he's here in spirit. But he informed us shortly before that he wouldn't be able to make it. But no big deal. The show must go on.
You know what this is called in France is Libé and Swish. we told you he'd be on here, so you would listen.
Yeah, you would listen, right? Yeah. The old bait and switch, right? Yeah. I'm glad you're here. But we do have Larry Conley. So
right, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Yeah, they both live in Georgia, the Atlanta, Georgia area. They both wear glasses, you know.
Right.
And
they both,
right. Yeah, so this is the bait and switch. So, but if you don't believe us, when you see David at FDIC, just ask him. Say, you were supposed to be on the show, right? Like, what show?
Right, exactly.
Larry Conley. Who is that? You know, who is that?
One of those guys.
But so anyway, let's prayers for Chief Rhodes and man, get better because you got a whole production in about a month, so get ready for that. But we were going to talk about, it wasn't like we was going to talk about his book and he's not here, or we was going to talk about, you know, when he used to do line dance, the line dance champion back in the day. We weren't going to talk about that.
Which is what I really, all my questions are about that.
Right. All roads lead to David. No, but
right, exactly. Yeah.
We can talk about it a little. I didn't know about that.
No, well, I didn't either. That's why we're going to have him on the show. Right. We're going to have him do a demonstration, right? You know, same old stuff, you know. But anyway, but we were going to, for the most part, the topic tonight was going to be about FDIC. That upcoming great show that's going to happen approximately a month from now. And FDIC starts April 15th through the 20th, 2024 in beautiful downtown Indianapolis, Indiana, at the convention center. And if you're on this show and you're a big part of the family fire engineer, we don't really need to sell you on it. I mean, you just, you know. But for the few of you out there who are listening or watching and have never been to it, heard about it, whatever, the majesty of FDIC, this is for you. For the people out there who may be on the fence of which class to pick, you know, am I going to this class? Am I going to that class? David and I got a few classes you might want to check out. So we're going to tonight promote this thing we call FDIC, the Fire Department's Instructors Conference 2024. And this year is going to be a great time as usual. It feels to me when I go to FDIC, I feel like I've been working hard all year, and I just need to go recharge and rewind and read something. I need to do all the reads and
right,
put the read in it, and so I go there. I hook up. It's like a big family reunion. I find the new friends. I reconnect with old friends, and just enjoy the traditions of the fire service. You got the bagpipes. You got all the establishments love us when we come, because now they getting ready to get big tips in downtown Indianapolis. 35,000, over 35,000 firefighters from around the country, around the world, converge on Indianapolis, Indiana every year. FDIC is this big. Let me tell you how big it is. When this opening ceremony, the governor and the mayor, the governor of the great state of Indiana and the mayor of Indianapolis, they both got something to say. I dig that. I mean, what other convention happens down there where the mayor and the governor show up and got a few words to say? Maybe they do it at the Indianapolis 500. Maybe they do it at the basketball games, you know, with the Pacers. I don't know. But even if they do, we're on track with one of the biggest, baddest conventions there, because those two people are there. So if those two people are there and other, you know, important and people and dignitaries and all that there, you should be there too. I mean, that just goes to show what's going on. And it's a great time. David and I always have a great time. And we have even a greater time serving and teaching at the conference. I mean, because when people walk, it's number one, it's not easy to get picked to come to FDIC to teach. I know that because I'm on the board to help pick the classes that come to FDIC, and it's some great people submit some great stuff to the conference. And when you see all of that greatness converge in one particular week at this place, man, the best deals are cut at FDIC, and they don't just cut on the exposition floor. They cut at the bars, they cut at the outside conversation, they cut in the hall. That's where the friends and networking is at its best. And when you got all of that kind of majesty going on, you can't, if you don't walk away from FDIC with something powerful to take back to your department, you did it wrong. You just, I'm just flat out telling you, did it wrong. You can actually, you can not even try and have something powerful to take back. So imagine if you tried. You come back and flip your whole department on this head with the stuff that you can pick up at FDIC, but you got to be all in, right, David? You got to be all in.
Yeah, and that was pretty slick.
You see what I did there? It's the name of David's class. The pre-con is all in, you know, and and mine is going to be called Tightrope. That's going to be on Thursday, and we're not talking about the circus either. We'll be talking about that a little bit tonight too.
There might be a couple of clowns there.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That's pretty good, man. Hey, we might have missed one show, but we still got it, But seriously, this is the place to be in Indianapolis. If you haven't signed up yet, there's still time to sign up. If you ain't got a hotel room yet, hey, find somebody who's going and bunk out with them. Bring your air mattress, put it on the floor, whatever you got to do. You can't come to my room, but
let's say don't get too familiar.
That's right.
However, if you know a friend, I'm sure somebody is going to let you hang out with them, and it'll be worth the trip. Some people have been going for years. David and I have been going, I think, definitely over a decade now, maybe close to 11, 12 years. And it's just always a good time. And Monday, we're going to have the pre-conference. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Tuesday, David and I do the radio show live from FDIC, where we'll do the podcast. And they've set it up real neat the last couple of years. We used to go up in this little dark room with a dim light and a microphone with some duct tape on it and record the show back in the day. But now, since that David Rhodes took over, there's been some changes now. But seriously, but what they've done is taken the show and they put it like out in the walking area, where in the convention hall. In the hallways of the convention. So right on the prominent corner, you'll see this glass and you'll see the desk, and you're recording the show with people walking by.
Wow.
And be careful what you say on the mic, because I was saying stuff like, hey, there's Forrest Reader and he can hear me. I didn't know the show was like being, projected and amplified to people out in the crowd can hear it. So you got to be careful what you say, So when Forrest walked past, I was like saying, I couldn't whisper and say, hey, look at the ugly jacket Forrest got on. No, what was that? Oh, Forrest, hey, buddy, how you doing?
Oh, Lord.
Just testing the mic.
Just testing the mic here, Mike. It's all jokes, Forrest. It's all jokes. But you got people walking past, people viewing the show. It's quite the experience. And people appearing in, like, is that Larry and David in there? It's a great time, And then, so you not only got that, we got that on Tuesday. Wednesday is opening ceremony. That's going to be powerful. And then Thursday, we got the second open ceremony. And I think I don't have them backwards, but two good friends of mine will be delivering the keynote speech. Man, yeah, I'm saying you got to go this year, because if I get it right, and forgive me if I get it wrong, on Wednesday, we're talking about all the way from the colony and down in Texas, the colony fire department. Ladies and gentlemen, James Scott Thompson will be delivering the keynote speech. Man, man. Have you ever seen Scott speak? I mean, we had on the show one time, and me and David had to shut up. Because Scott was kicking the knowledge. He's kicking the truth. Yeah. Scott Thompson. Check Scott Thompson out. Then on Thursday, this one I thought couldn't get no better. Man. Whew. If my front door wasn't already shut, I'd say shut the front door. But I shut it on my way in. I live in St. Louis. Just make you want to open it. Go shut the door again. Chief Jason Hoverman, Forest Valley, Missouri Fire Department. Jason, he one of the guys said, ho, H to the Izzo, ho. Not guilty. Y'all got to feel me. Jason Hoverman.
I did the best I could. I just want y'all to know, okay?
Man, he was in Collinsville a couple of months ago talking about first due tactics. Nobody does it better. Engine house training. That's Jason Hoverman. Jason was doing podcasts when they still called it pod. And he the one that said this so good. We had they changed the podcast. Jason, he was ahead of his time. That these are the people who are gonna be talking.
Oh God.
Scott Thompson, Jason Hoverman. Jason's a homeboy from here. I can drive to Jason's house right now because he's a homeboy. In the last couple of years, you done had 2 Missouri local guys doing this thing nationally. Jason Hoverman, Scott Thompson. Man, that's just worth driving up there, checking it out. Go to a few classes, then you can go on back home. They're gonna drop the mic. David, we better be careful. I mean, we had the most watched keynote in the history of FDIC. No, I'm just saying, but we thought we did good. But man, these guys, I'm telling you, Scott, he gets to talk about the mission.
Be something.
You better ask somebody for real. So you got those two powerful speakers going to be the opening ceremony. The opening ceremony is always great because we recognize our fallen brothers and sisters from the past. My favorite, David, and you seen this, the opening ceremony when they sing the national anthem, and you got the voices of
and everybody appreciates your contribution. To the musical stylings.
I'm just gonna go ahead and tell the joke because it's funny. I'm gonna try to tell it as clean as I can. So it's the whole crew who does it. That great people from the Indianapolis Fire Department, great voices. They travel around doing the national anthem. They sing the national anthem and they sing the Canadian national anthem. And they do it all a cappella. I mean, you got the dude with the voice like, yes, you got the deep voice, you got the tenors, they throw down. They don't need no music at all. They do a great job at it. But Tiffany Wesley, deputy chief, and she was I'm gonna throw Tiffany under the bus too because she was there with me when it happened. But you could get confused by people sometimes. I'll try to keep it as politically correct as possible. But me and Tiffany had our uniforms on. You know, we think we looking short. We, got our boys. And we walking through the halls, and somebody said, "Hey, great job this morning singing the national anthem." I was like, "Hey, the."
So I was singing along, but I didn't know you could hear me.
I was up on stage with them, and then Tiffany said, so Tiffany was talking to somebody else, and she said, "Didn't nobody say that when I told them?" I said, "Yeah, they did." So we walked a little bit further. This time, just Tiffany and I together, and Chief Tiffany Wesley and myself. Somebody walked up to us and said, "Hey, you guys did great this morning doing national anthem." Now she believed me. Assistant Chief Brian Zeitz at Kirkwood, Missouri Fire Department, he did the keynote last year. He didn't believe me until the third person walked up and said the same thing in front of Brian Zeitz. I'm gonna let you figure out why that was so funny. It wasn't us, people. We appreciate it, but it wasn't us, So. But I just say that to say that these people do a great job. They know about the joke because it's a running joke. So whenever I see them, or I see them backstage in the green room, we all hug it up, and they always say, "Hey, you ready to join us this year?" Like, I don't want to mess it up. I don't want to get stuff thrown. The people sometimes bring fruit into the thing. I like to eat fruit. I don't like the
accolades anyway. So
right. Yeah, exactly. I ain't got to do the work. Right. But anyway, they got all kinds of social events on each evening. I know Wednesday night is the Foods Bash, so make sure you check out where that's going to be. That's always a great time. Live band, food, and just the brotherhood of the foods from all the chapters from all over the country. Conversion. I'm a proud member of the Muddy Rivers Foods, and so we'll be there in full effect. So come by, stop by, say hi about about the coins. We got new challenge coins. I just had it here. Anyway, we got new challenge coins. We got T-shirts. We got all kind of stuff you can buy, and we got some of the coolest stuff. I mean, I got the Drew City coin that David and I got when we went to teach there last year. Up in Minneapolis, Minnesota, but this is from Milwaukee to Brew City. So a lot of people got cool coins, but we got the coolest. So we got that. Thursday is the Black Firefighters Association. So be sure to come down. I think that's Stop, Drop, Rock and Roll too for that night. The comedy show, but we also like to peep in and say what's
during
up.
The day Thursday.
Yeah, and then during the day. Well, yeah, I was going to talk about that. Since I was still on the night social stuff, but I'll get to that. You're right. But then, so that's the social that night, and then Friday night is the Union Bash. Indianapolis Firefighters got a great Union Hall. Go check that out. Usually. Food and free beer and entertainment there as well. You get to check out the museum, and it's always a great time. The 2 days, that's kind of overview. Get the brochure, go on the website. You'll see more details of what's happening at FDIC. But those are some of the highlights and the staples that's going to happen. Now. Now we got all the riffraff out the way. Let's talk about the sexy stuff with me and David. Right. But seriously, David and I will be back, and David has a pre-conference that he'll be teaching, which is Monday morning from 8 to noon. I think mine, I don't know why I'm going blank on mine, which is tightrope, and that'll be on Thursday, 1:30 to 3:15, something like that. I'll look it up. But anyway, so check them out, Tightrope, and check out All In. And David's going to be talking about team building. I'll be talking about, since now I've taken on the chief position, it'll be 2 years in June. Now I see things from that perspective. For a long time, I was seeing things operating as a company officer. And now I'm seeing things from a chief officer. And in each of those roles, you have to walk a tightrope. You have to satisfy what management wants, and you have to take care of your troops at the same time. In doing both of them, that creates the tightrope, because you got to be effective and efficient to be a complete firefighter, to deliver complete services to the communities that we serve. So first of all, since Monday comes before Thursday, I'm going to let David give you a little sneak peek into why you should pay that little extra money to come out to see All In on Monday at 8 o'clock in the morning. So David, take it away. Give them a little sneak peek of what they're going to be coming into on that Monday morning.
Me. Okay. So the first number is a little ditty I did. The importance of it is just comes down to one word, and that one word is teamwork, right? There are so many different personalities. First of all, just 8 billion people on the planet. Jeez. But I'm saying, just think about all the people that are in the fire service, and you don't get to say, hey, we're going to have all people who believe what I believe, or who are from my background, or who have the exact same skills I have and everything. I get to pick all of those people to be on my fire team, or at my engine house, or in my department. That's not how any of that works anymore. You don't get to do that. So I guess that it ever really did. It's just now we're acknowledging it more, that you have so many different, like I said, backgrounds and points of view and everything, and all of them are valuable. All of them bring a value to the team, and therefore to any situation, any sort of emergency that you face. And so what we're talking about is how you are able to take the best qualities of each member of the team, synergize those qualities into, let's just call it a super team. I mean, there won't be any capes, but let's just call it a team that maximizes the best things that everybody brings to the table. Maybe that's lived experience from somebody. Maybe that person lived experience is now complemented by somebody else's academic expertise and prowess. Maybe you got somebody who is more physically capable than somebody else, but that person who is not as physically capable also is very good at strategically seeing things or what have you. I'm just saying it's about getting to know your people, getting to know the folks on your team, and not just with you being the captain or the chief or whatever, and it's your responsibility to do everybody. It's how everybody can get to do that amongst themselves, interacting with each other, realizing these things, shoring up maybe some things that I'm not as good at, but you're better at. I can learn some of that from you and get better. You can learn some things from me and get better. And all together, the team becomes stronger. It becomes more effective. That's the team. I don't know, but that's the team I want showing up at my house if there's any sort of emergency. I want a team where everybody's, on their A game, and their A game is supported by the other people's A game, and where you are committed to that A game. That's why it's called All In. So everybody is committed to that particular A game. Everybody is committed to bringing the A game and bringing the A game out of the other people on the team as well. And so that's, what it's all about. That's what we're after. We have a lot of fun getting everybody there. And, so I just, encourage you to look into it and come check us out.
Mm-hmm. Now, David, I know that we have a unique style to way we deliver. So you're just not sitting there clicking through slides the whole time. You got to have slides to have right. But it's not depth by PowerPoint. So how do you keep the audience engaged with your delivery?
Well, I mean, a lot of it has to do with throwing dirt in their eyes. No, I'm kidding. Everybody's blinking. Oh my gosh, what? Yeah, we had to stop doing that. Some OSHA violation. No, we of course there's a lot of ridiculous humor, but also, so I'm obviously not a firefighter. But I've seen every episode of Chicago Fire on, so I'm completely up to speed on everything you're doing. But realistically, my forte is in dramatic illustration and driving learning points home, particularly around leadership and communication, driving those points home through theatrical interpretation of things. So some of the things that we do are illustrations like a thing called the Status Cafe, where everybody has gone out to eat at one point or another. So it's an immediately recognizable scenario. And essentially we kind of play out what it looks like when somebody is treating somebody with low status or high status, and you get to immediately see that. We could stand and tell you about it and tell you how that works, and you would probably get it, academically. But in order for you to feel it, in order for you to really get in touch with what that's like, you got to see that type of illustration going on. But also, there's always scenarios. We develop new ones all the time, and those scenarios play out in a way that normally turns out, I don't think there's a better way to say it, bad. They turn out terrible. But it's usually a thing that's familiar to the audience. And so then we're able to break down, why did that happen? Because the other thing is, most of how we interact with each other in fire teams, families, everything else is sort of on autopilot. And then you get mad at this person for a minute. You have a situation that you build on with episodes of negativity now after that first negative encounter. And then slowly those relationships start to erode. The trust starts to erode. And so we show instances like that where that happens in just a few minutes, break down why it happens, and then after we've had a chance to talk about it and also give you a tool help you to see how the empower model can impact these different scenarios, then you get a chance to go into breakouts with some other people who would be on your team and come up with a strategy to make those scenarios come out better. And then you out of your team pick a volunteer, and that volunteer would come up and would try to implement your strategy now, but they would be doing it against me, and I'm improving. And I've had 1 or 20 years of or so of improv experience and training. So I know how to make it realistic. I know how to make it a thing that is challenging, but also a thing that's a safe place for you to be emotionally, and also a place for you to learn. So we can say when things get a little hot, we can say, okay, wait, freeze, see how you feel right now. Yeah, that's what we were talking about earlier when we were saying, because a lot of times what happens is when we're in class and we're talking, people will say, well, yeah, of course, I understand this, I understand listening, I understand blah, blah, blah. But it's when you get squeezed a little bit, all that goes out of the window, all that understanding can go out of the window. And so in that way, it's not unlike, a hot class or something, where, you're actually getting to, get down and dirty with setting some on fire and putting it out and dealing with the changing conditions of a thing. It's like that, but for communications and interpersonal skills. And so, I wish a lot more people would go through experiencing it, because invariably every time people experience it, they say, man, I never really had a training like that before. Never had something that was that intense, that was that in my face. We've had people get ready to fight in the class before. We've had, all kinds of situations, and it's a good time for us, and a great learning experience. So that's the uniqueness of it. You'd be hard pressed to find that, number one, that type of training, but then that level of intensity anywhere else in the fire service. So.
Yeah, it's a great experience, and it's a great experience, and I'm not saying that just because it's something we developed, but I'm saying it because working both sides of the training spectrum, so to speak, where you do lectures and PowerPoints, but you also do hands-on. I can say that how you get challenged in your hands-on. If it's a good hands-on class, there are going to be some challenges with that. Some ways you may have to really push yourself and discover who you really are. And it's a good place to find that out is in a training format, because that's a safe place. It's good to goof it up there so you don't goof it up when it counts. But when you're talking about the way we try to deliver these classes that David and I do, is that our mindset has always been the hot lecture class, so to speak. Where it's a hot lecture. Hot means hands-on training, and so that means like at FDIC, you'll see Monday morning and Tuesday morning, 5:30, 6 a.m. A bunch of people got their gear, a bunch of firefighters loading up on chartered buses. They're heading out from parts of Indianapolis to get that all day, get sweaty, get down and dirty, hot training. Probably some of the best training at FDIC, truth be told, because is realistic scenarios. They require realistic houses and compartments. They got some of the best trainers from around the country, and the best trainers around the country, and spent a lot of money hauling their stuff there to the training material that you're gonna need. And it's an elaborate event to put that on. Matter of fact, I think they even started planning for it. Time they done with FDIC this year, they already planning for it next year, because there's so much in the production of putting on that training, hands-on training from around the country. You got firefighters around the country, instructors from around the country converging on Indianapolis. The reason I'm being very detailed in that is because when a person walks away from that and they done Monday, they done Tuesday, if they did 2 days, they feel like, wow, well, I don't know, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday can match this, because I'm beat. We had some kick butt training here, and it was good. You can't get that nowhere else. The class that we do when we do our classroom, or we do the pre-conference, it can be just mentally exhausting because you're trying emotional, because what people are used to is their way of doing things. They've been doing it their way for however old they are. They 40, they 30, they 20, or they older than that. They've been doing it the same way, and they probably have had some success. Most people show up for a pre-conference class. There are a lot of times the chief officers, company officers, whatever. There are people who've made the investment to pay a little extra, because FDIC costs one price, but when you do the pre-conference, you're paying extra for the pre-conference. So when they show up, you're talking about some serious people looking for serious solutions to their to what they want to do. They want to get better, and they're willing to invest in it, or convince their agency to help make that happen for them. So it may be looked at as the pre-conference is a great thing to invest in, as far as, you get there before the conference and you have Monday and Tuesday for pre-con. But going through a class like we put together here can have you just as mentally exhausted as the hot class can have you when you hit the streets of Indianapolis. Now, I'm not trying to scare anybody away. I'm trying to say the same satisfaction you would have from like, woo, that was a great day of training. We got up at 4:30. We had all the equipment there. We was on the bus by 6. We was at the spot. We spent all day. We had boxed lunches. Then we got the afternoon session going on. Then we got back on the bus. Everybody was stinking and smelly and all that kind of stuff. Then we got back to the hotel, took a shower. And when we kind of gathered and networked with friends that night, we were like, man, you should have been there today. We had to, we aimed to do that same thing when you like, man, I got up 7:30, at 7 o'clock. I got to the class, the all-in class. Boy, that David, I don't know what he's on, but he must have went to super acting school, because it took me through some stuff, and that was, I know what you did, because I've done what you've done in the high class, but this was high class for your family show. This is high class for your behind. Yeah, you're welcome, Mom. There's our mom right there.
That rhymes with class.
So
I did the best I could.
She did the best she could. What she did, but my point is, so that's the goal. We don't want you to sit in the class the whole time. And let me say this, because I'm not trying on the side, because people misinterpret. I'm not trying on the side diss somebody else's class. Diss is a short version for dismiss. I'm not trying to diss somebody else's class. I know a lot of the pre-con people are going to be teaching. We talk about some great instructors, great classes, chosen for the pre-con for a reason. So you're going to get something out of everybody's class, depending on what you're looking for. But what I'm trying to say is that since we're talking about this class, this is the goal. This is what you're gonna get, and this is what you're gonna walk away with. And you're gonna have just the same experience spiritually, with your brain, with your thinking outside the box, with your all that kind of stuff. It can have the same. I hate to use the word exhaustion, but the same impact as you did the hands-on training. So that's all I'm trying to say. And if that's what you're looking for, you'll get that in this class. You might be looking for some other things. There's some other great classes that you'll be getting Monday and Tuesday in the pre-conference as well. Because if this class was the only one that was that good, then it would just be the only class in the pre-con. Yeah, we got pre-con, David Conley, both days. See him live both days, in the big room, But no, we got some great pre-conference classes. Check them out, see what works for you, see what you need for your growth, how you could be an asset to your organization. Go to that class, get something out of it, take it back home, flip your organization on this air.
It's full contact interpersonal training.
You said full contact what?
It's full contact interpersonal training. You know what I mean? It's just it's team building on steroids. It's full contact. Yeah. And so
David and I always say this is that when it's fun and it's the firefighter way to want to learn how to get dirty, learn, because that's what we do. At the end of the day, after we done with all of this, after you done with mental fitness, after you done with everything we do in the EMS world, after you done with community risk reduction, after you done with all this stuff that we are responsible for now, and let me make sure that I'm not dismissing that, all critical, valuable stuff to be what we need to be an all hazard response agency needed. However, let's not lose what we hear, what the crust of what we hear for and what we do. And and fires are down, but I'm gonna tell you, when it's time to fight fire, whatever you was doing on EMS, whatever you're doing for community risk reduction, whatever you was doing for you was watching your mental fitness videos, you was whatever you was doing. It is time to put that stuff on. Get on that truck, get out that house fast, get to the emergency, and get in there and save lives and property. Period.
Yep. There you go.
That's what it's all about. But that ain't the only thing it's about. But that's what it's all about. And sometimes we can get so, in the myriad of things that we have to be concerned about, sometimes that can get lost. That's important. Just because fires are down, it only takes one fire to kill you or your crew. Only one fire. And believe me, I know what I'm talking about. Because we're still dealing with that.
Yeah.
So you got to be trained. You got to be ready. You got to be aware. You got to do everything it takes to support that. Because sometimes it's going to be 3 o'clock in the morning, 3 degrees outside, snow, ice, and it's a fire, and it's somebody's loved one trapped in there. You got to go. 100%. Ain't no community risk reduction.
They're expecting your best.
And you expect to be at your best. All of this stuff is in support of you being your best. But after we finish with all the support work, at the end of the day, you still got to get in there and get it. And if you ain't got the heart to get in there and get it, don't be a firefighter. Period. That's the gully of it, for real. But my point is that, so that's why I'm making the point about the hot classes being as important as what they are. And not only the hot classes being important, but the training you do throughout the year between the FDIC. What are you doing your own department? What are you doing locally? What are you doing regionally? That kind of stuff. You have to keep feeding that, because if you don't keep feeding that, you're not going to be ready when the bell hits. It's just not some automatic thing. Hero music pops on and you just flip a switch and all of a sudden you know what you need to know. You got to have that repetition. You got to have that hands-on. You got to have that redundancy. You got to have that recency, so to speak. If you
Right.
say, if I ask you, when was the last fire you fought? You have to say, good question. So you need some
19.
recent. Yeah, you need some recent here. You should be able to
But
say,
the other
I'm
thing,
not saying wishing bad on, hoping you get fires and hoping they're death and
sure.
destruction. But my point is that if you gotta think a minute when last time you had a fire and
Okay.
you're a firefighter on a truck.
Mm.
And let me preface by saying this too, to cover all these bases, because you get the hate email or whatever. Um, if your agency doesn't, because you stay in the community where everybody takes care of business and fire prevention is up and community risk reduction is off the chain, and you don't have to fight a lot of fires, great. Great. The protection still needs to be there, but great that you don't have to. But that makes even more the reason you have to practice it, because you don't get it. And even if you are in a community where you fight often, you still got to practice too, because ain't no, you just didn't get caught this time, But anyway, I'm sorry, you was
But
gonna
the
say
other
what
thing, I
they.
was going to say, the other thing is for even busy, department, a busy house or not, there's time you spend at the emergency scene, but then there's a lot of time that you spend not at the emergency scene with your folks. And that's where this type of training comes in, and that supports and builds a better response when you do have to hit the emergency scene. But when you're spending that that time where we're just around the engine house, what is that relationship building like? What is that team building like? What's it like in training? How are
Right.
you relating to the folks? Is it just a sort of absent autopilot, episodic based relationship that you have, or is it intentional? Is it, something where you are really getting to know yourself and your people and maximizing, like I said, the best in everybody on the team so that when you do have the emergency next time, you're good to go. A lot of us like to think that, that kind of part is not important, but that's again, going back to your fitness analogy, that's like really doing a lot of curls and working those, the front part of your arms, but your triceps looking kind of flat, or your legs, you're missing legs.
Right, leg day.
So you toppling over every time you stand up. So I'm just saying, we just really got to be thinking about ourselves holistically. We have to be thinking about everything about ourselves. And so the technical training, we got the fact that that's important and that that's crucial to doing the job. But who shows up to do the job? What's the fitness of that individual? And consequently, that team that shows up to implement the technical training. Technical training, that you can be great at technical training, know all of that you want to, but if you have a heart attack on your way there because you weren't taking care of your physical fitness and going to get that together, or or whatever, some of these other areas fall down. That's what will be the thing that hamstrings you, if you will.
Sure.
So.
Absolutely. We have to be all in on all fronts, basically. One thing doesn't trump the other thing. They should work in concert with each other. They should complement each other. They should feed each other, and they should make sure that when all fronts are covered, then you lessen your chances of burnout. You lessen your chances of getting hurt, killed. You increase your chances of saving life and property and bring your A game to the table. And that's what we've always been about with this whole glue universe that we do. No matter what class comes out of it, we want you to bring your A game to the table, but you can't compartmentalize that kind of stuff. It all has, as Mommy Elaine always say, I always have to be connected thinking. And the connected thinking means that when I get my mental fitness together, that supported my firefighter efforts. When I work out, that supported my firefighter efforts. When I'm team building, that supported my firefighter efforts. So all of this stuff feeds into one big. It can all exist. A lot of times we think it's a challenge between one thing or the other, but it can all exist. And when people say people want to make a difference, and I always bring this up: how many kids you get? And then, I got 3 or 4 kids. I said, which one you love the most? I mean, I know in this case, Elaine loves me the most. But anyway, but what I'm saying is that
wait a minute, wait, what?
but what I'm saying, I always ask the question, which one you love the most? And what I mean by that is that they'll say, well, no, I love all of them. I love all of them for whatever. I said, that's the point I'm making. You can't have it all. If there's enough room, the abundance mentality that Dave and I talk about in the class, you can't have it all. But you just got to make sure that you're doing it in a way that's beneficial to you being a holistic firefighter, being a great example to your team, and then they bring in, like David said, bringing that A team to the fire. You bring the A team to the fire, Miss McGillicuddy is happy. Thank you. If she got somebody who falls off the pump because they tired, because it's been a lot, putting that equipment on, you ain't physically fit. We don't need you. We get somebody who sees some death and destruction, and it freaks them out to the point that they can't do their job. We probably don't need you either. We need somebody who can master what's the best route to get to the fire. And you going on detours or not driving efficiently effective to the fire, we probably don't need you either. We got company officers who aren't good leaders and bad leadership and don't study and stay up. They got the badge and they arrived. You said, well, last time you've been to a class that really talks about your incident command or your leadership person. I ain't got to do all that. I'm the captain or I'm the chief. We probably don't need this bad says we probably don't need you either. We need the A team to show up. We don't need the B team, the C team, the D team, and we definitely don't need the F team. I'll let you run away with your imagination on that one. We definitely don't need that.
You're saying it's all the more reason some.
But we did.
All the more reason for you to be on your A team.
Yeah. You gotta be on your A game.
Bringing your A game.
Oh, most definitely. The class that we're doing for the classroom is called Tightrope, and that'll be on Thursday. So look it up and check us out on Thursday for Tightrope. And I'm just going to kind of read a little something I wrote about the tightrope so everybody can get here. And
wait a minute, you're reading and writing? This whole college thing.
Right. Yeah. Hey man, I'm in college now, Right. It's something. It's me. It's what I do. Let me. Next week is spring break, so I'm really happy. I won't be doing a lot of writing next week. So I'm happy about that. But it's called Tightrope. Look it up, everybody. Come to the class. Let's pack it out. And if you're the kind of person that are already in leadership, whether you're a company officer or whether you're aspiring to be a leader, it's not discriminatory in whether you're a leader or not. Everybody's welcome. But if you are aspiring to be a leader, you're already a company officer, or more or less, if you now find yourself in the chief officer's position, this class has something for all demographics in that regard. Because in today's fire service, it requires excellence on all fronts. Your department expects efficiency regarding training, record keeping, agency compliance, and safety measures. The citizens expect effectiveness in delivering all hazard service to mitigating emergency. Both demands are equally important, hence the tightrope. This class is an interactive experience that will teach practices to help master the balance between efficiency and effectiveness. Takeaways from this class will provide you with actionable resources to be the complete leader your agency and community needs. And so if that's the case, if you want that type of noise, you need to be at the class on Thursday. The purpose of this class is to empower all department members with the tools to provide a complete fire service experience for the fire department and the community. Also to emphasize the importance of being proficient at effectiveness and efficiency. Fire service agencies who master the tightrope have increased reliability and minimal liability. I was trying to be cute with that, So,
that was nice.
You like that? You see what I did there? I was trying to rhyme, trying to be a little rapper.
It's a few sentences together.
Right. But this college thing is amazing. I'm telling you, everybody should try it.
It's so hot.
Right.
I'd have sent you to college earlier. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. I wish you would have. I would be paying for it myself now. But,
well, that's the reason you are.
Right.
Yeah, I did. I'm doing the best I can now. But the reason.
That's a good point.
So come out and check out the tightrope, and the reason we call it the tightrope, and I'm experiencing that now, being in the position I'm in, is that it is definitely a tightrope to do what we do. The citizens expect you to deliver to them the best service possible, and as a officer, as a chief officer, I find myself interacting more with citizens now on a way that I have to really represent the department well. And if I don't do a good job of that, these are the same people that pay the taxes. They make the vote for bond issues and things like that. So you can't blow them off. And you can't prejudge. You can't say, well, they drove up in the hoopty, so I'm sure they ain't paying taxes. You don't know what what people are doing. Right. So you can't. So number one, treat everybody with respect in the first place. David and I talk about that all the time in treating people with high status. Treat everybody with high status.
Yes.
And if we treat everybody with high status, then you don't have to worry about being judgmental. Just treat everybody with high status. And high status, because everybody deserves high status. And here's the other secret. They don't deserve high status just because they treated you nice. Because some citizens walk in and they're unloading on you because you represent the agency.
Right.
So when they come in, your people showed up, and when they showed up, they didn't treat my mama right, and they didn't treat my mama right, and blah, 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 blah. You sitting there like that. And then people like you are the reason. I'm like, I wasn't even there, but I can't say it. Like, look, I wasn't at your house, but you gotta still be respectful. You gotta hear what they're saying. You gotta hear empathetically past all of that. What are they trying to say? Right. The volume and the verbiage may be this, but what are they saying? And try to get to that. And when you empathetically try to get to that, and you're able to see empathetically how to help them walk to where their problem is, to the solution that we can collectively come up with. That's all they really want to hear. They just want somebody to hear them.
Yes.
So when we do
now
that,
does that solution balance the efficiency and effectiveness? That's the tightrope, when you're coming up with that solution.
Exactly, to come up with that solution, and you have to also do that tightrope because see, you can't throw your people under the bus. You can't be like, I know who you're talking about. That's so and so. Hey, between me and you, he a messed up fireman anyway. I don't even know why. I'm sorry, he probably was having another bad day and blah blah blah. We can't do that. Now you're gonna lose the ship. Now you're gonna lose. Now you're gonna lose your people at work. You got to tightrope standing up for your people, and then standing up for the people at the same time. With the citizens and here's another tightrope. Now I got to go to stuff like council meetings and meet with talk to the mayor and the city council and aldermen and all that kind of stuff. Well, a whole different monster that you got to deal with now because now these are the people who control the resources to get your personnel in the department what they need to be safe and effective when they hit the street. So if we don't, as chief officers, do that correctly, or offend the people who control the resources, the department suffers in that regard. So if the department suffers, and then we can't deliver world class service to the citizens. You know, we're just not doing our good job. So
that's why I always say, when you don't have that balance, you create that gap between what's supposed to happen and what actually happens, and just what you just described, you and the citizens fall into that gap right then. You know what I mean?
And
the citizens want us to be effective. Go ahead. What you saying, Mom?
Nobody wins.
Nobody wins, right? It's a win-lose situation. We want win-win scenario. Now, understand that you can do all of that. You can go to our class. You can master the class. We've been doing classes like this, addressing these status issues for years. And I still have to, strategically and sometimes struggle with even delivering it. Because it's easier said than done. But at least I have a lighthouse to go to walk me, to guide me on the wisest way to do it. I've said this before when I was advising a friend of mine. I said, I don't pray to be right about stuff. I pray to be wise about it, because right these days can be a little subjective. Somebody say, "Well, I'm right," and very seriously, you may be right. You just ain't right at the right time. But the wisdom makes you right at the right time.
That's good.
You see what I'm saying? So I pray for wisdom. I don't pray for being right. There's been a bunch of times I've been right when I was married, and I ended up on the couch. I was right. Just wasn't wise. That's why I was on the couch. Wisdom would have had me in bed.
Don't get off the subject.
Okay, yeah. Let me think. No, I'm back. But seriously,
stay focused.
Yeah. But you got to be wise, and so I pray for wisdom. Yes. So a citizen might come in and have all the wrong data based on their feelings. And here's a good example. There have been a lot of times where we've got, and just over my career, not necessarily in Collinsville right now, but over my career, where somebody said, "It took y'all 25 minutes to get there. Y'all took all day. It was forever." We pulled the tape because everything's recorded. Where the call come in? What they say? When was the dispatch? When did we go? When did we say we're responding? When did we say we arrived at the scene? That's all timestamp. And it ain't timestamped by like back in the day, maybe an erroneous timestamper. This is computer timestamp. So it's timestamped. So when you pulled the tape, you said, "No, ma'am, actually we got the call about 10:01. That's when it's about 10. Okay. The call went out. They minute and a half later, they responded. It's recorded. They got to your house in 3 minutes and 4 seconds. Yeah, what says here. And then when they got there, so where's this? So it's tempting to say, "I'm right, you're wrong. It wasn't no 20 minutes. Read the tape." But is that the wisest way to deal with it? Ma'am, sir, I can. Hey, here's where you empathize. We used to call it feel, felt, found. I know how you feel. I felt the same way, but here's what I found. So feel, felt, found goes like this. I know how you feel. Your loved one is and then killed over or will look like they're dying. You want help right away. They don't seem to be coming faster. You're hysterical. It can seem forever. And I felt the same way in things that I wanted right now. But here's what I found. It only took 3 minutes and 4 seconds to get to your home. I'm sorry that the outcome was this way. But, what can we do to, whatever. Do I be right and just say, "No, you're wrong. End of story"? Or do I empathetically say something? Maybe I'll even bring up what I found. Our data doesn't show that. If you want to see it, I'd be happy to show it to you. But our data really doesn't show that, man. Our data shows that we got there in this amount of time, and we had your loved one on a monitor, at this time or whatever the intervention was. It wasn't forever. Now, they can do one, two things. They can say, well, I don't care about your stats. You can make that same thing you want and continue to be upset about it. Or they can say, okay, but that's all going to come for the tone that you set, being efficient, and showing your tightrope between efficiency and effectiveness. You train your crews to be effective by doing efficient things back at the station, so they can get there on time, so they don't show up 20. So nobody has you like that and say your agency takes all day to get here. Well, we walk the tightrope better when we practice it. And you might think, I'm thinking, okay, well, I don't have to worry about that. When I become a chief officer, I'll worry about the tightrope. You got to practice now. Because the tightrope is like this to me, and this is how I visualize when we was putting this together. When you first learning how to walk a tightrope, and I'm not sure, I ain't never been in a circus, so I don't know. But I would imagine it goes a little something like this. They put the tightrope close to the ground. And you have to master walking the tightrope when it's close to the ground. That way, when you fall, ain't that big of a fall. Worse, you might sprain the ankle or something, but it's close to the ground. You got that mastered. You can do this with your eyes closed, blindfolded, going back and forth without falling at all. That might be you at the firefighter first year probationary, stat. You ain't got that far to fall because you ain't got that much responsibility. Then you get a little time on. You become the senior person, senior man, senior woman in your department. The tightrope goes up a little more because now we expect your experience to kick in and be the voice of reason. We expect that if the captain say, hey, you go there, you being the newer person, you being my trusty senior person, go handle that. The tightrope is a little higher at that point, because you got to be effective, and then you got to efficiently do what the captain asks you to do, or the company officer asks you to do. Then you take the test and get promoted. Guess what? The tightrope gets a little higher because now you're responsible, and you're paid now to be responsible for your crew. You got to train them at the firehouse, get them, have their readiness up. You got to keep records. You got to, keep personnel records, keep training records as the company officer. That's efficiency. Citizens don't really care about that. You dotting I's, crossing T's, your learning management system that you use. They don't really care about that. But you do all that in support of being effective, because when you hit the street, they expect effectiveness.
Period.
But when you become a chief officer, it went off the train now. The tightrope. And so I pictured it like everybody look above the big top, look above, and there are the chief officers about to death-defying walk across the tightrope. You got your little balancing point, because if you fall as the chief, you fall hard. Because you're responsible for more. You're the face of the department. You got to take heavy as the head that wears the crown. All of that. Everybody want to be the chief until it's time to do chief stuff. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. If I was the chief, well, go on and try it then. You go talk to City Hall, City Council, the mayor, and all of them, and try to access the resources you need to give you all what you want. And then train you well enough that when you hit the street, I don't even have to worry about you.
Second nature. I was going to say, reiterate that thing where the distance is directly related to the level of responsibility you have too. The distance from the rope to the ground, which is why, like you said, in the visual, it's higher. The higher you go up in responsibility, you know what I mean? So it's better to master when you are not at that place, instead of thinking, I'll learn it when I get to the chief or command level. You really ought to be trying to master it down where, like you said, if you step off a little bit, the consequences are not as great, but they can be catastrophic on a routine basis when you get up to that command level.
And up here doesn't mean you're better than people. Up here just means
Not at all.
there's
No.
more responsibility what I'm responsible
further
for.
to fall.
I'm sorry, Mom. You was going to say what?
I was just going to say too, when you think about the people that you're trying to serve, and they're in a tense situation, the house is on fire, or my loved one has, become unconscious. It just seems like it's taking a long time for the help to come, because you're under such duress, just because of the nature of why you even called.
Absolutely.
And so if you were doing something else or playing a game or something, it wouldn't be that big a deal to you. But now you're in a crisis, or, like I said, you have a loved one in trouble, one of your kids, or the house is on fire, and, whatever it is, from their perspective at the time, they're under a lot of stress. So it seems like it's a long time. I'm saying, understanding it from their point of view.
Right.
If we were just having this discussion like we're talking about now, they were like, "Oh yeah, I understand." But when you're under that kind of pressure, it seems like it can seem like an hour when like I said, something's stressing you out. Your loved one is passed out and you don't know what to do,
Right.
or that kind of thing, and trying to get out of the burning building. So it just, have to take that into consideration, that's just, they would not say that if you were just having a regular discussion,
Right.
more than likely. But because of the nature of why you even talking to them, you kind of want to empathize that they were under a lot of pressure. And so that's why they might have been screaming and hollering and, whatever, because they're stressed out, they're afraid, and those kinds of things.
No, exactly. Our sister Cherie worked in dispatch for years for the St. Louis City Fire Department. And you can imagine if by the time we get there, we get it raw on the street, but they get it raw at dispatch, and they and they have to answer them a series of questions to make sure they send in the right resources to the right area. And they're like, "Oh, so passed out. Where you at? You know where I am." They cursing you out. And Cherie used to tell me that she had to have a whole lot of patience and still focusing on doing her job and being empathetic, and not because some people can't handle that noise. You get to curse them. I wish they would say something to me. I wasn't raised that way. You talk to me, you gonna get it back. Blah blah blah. But you're not a very effective dispatcher, like that. So you gotta know how to look past that, and that's where that because you represent not just you represent the agency, and that's where your efficiency comes in. So like I said, we're gonna talk about that in more detail at the show on Thursday on Tightrope. And when we talk about it Thursday, we'll have definitely some illustrations and some more in-depth ways to really make sure that as emergency responder, that whatever level you find yourself, or whether you still at near the ground level and you falling off, doesn't require a lot of consequence. But master that. Don't say I ain't gonna play on the tightrope until I get here. Master it here, where you can't fall off if you wanted to. Do it. Do it not till you get it. Don't do it till you get it right. Do it till you can't get it wrong. So keep doing that. By the time it elevates, you got that confidence. It might be a little scary when it elevates, but hey, I already done the master getting across the tightrope. So all I gotta do is just stay focused on that and not focus on the height. And then as you get higher, then because of more responsibility, you could be like the flying Melendez. You can cross buildings. Remember David back when they stretch tightrope between two tall buildings, and they up there, doing and here and understand this too. Having figured out, David, we might have to throw this in at the last minute because we pretty much we got it down, but we want to but more revelations keep coming. But hey, man, sometimes you walk in this tightrope, ain't no net, player, ain't no net. You fall, that's all. Ain't no net. Sometimes there, a lot of players put a net down there because you feel like, but sometimes ain't no net. So you gotta be careful with that and understand that that's why it's important to balance that efficiency, effectiveness. I look at the tightrope as this: when they carry that bar, that balances in them. That's efficiency and effectiveness, keeping you on that tightrope. So that's the visual of the whole thing. But if you master that tightrope, then you could be the most effective member of your department, all the way from the probationary, newer firefighter, all the way up to the chief. You can.
And that's about mastering tools of efficiency to make you more effective.
Right.
That's how that is.
Yep. Yeah. So that's what we're gonna talk about in more detail at the Thursday afternoon tightrope. And so check that out. We'll be there talking about that, and we guarantee when you leave, you're gonna have some actionable tools that you can use to go back. A lot of it, tightrope is gonna get better and better because I learn something new every day at my new job, and as I learn something new every day, or practice different things with how I need to deliver, making the of doing things efficiently to keep everybody compliant, but keeping them the training so they can be effective in the street. It's a new experience every day in learning how to do that better. So I'm excited about that. And some of that is going to also be, and David and I have talked about this as I've worked through this master's program, and I got to put a practicum together. Some of that same lessons learned would be in the practicum. So it'd be even more actionable and reviewed by peers. And so it'll be make even more official. So I don't know, next year's tightrope, if we're blessed enough to come back again, or something, a program similar to it, tightrope 1.0 might be, but watch out for tightrope 2.0. It's going to be off the chain. So I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to how this develops. And one thing I like about what David and I do, and I'm not really trying to throw shade on any other instructors, but I will say this: firefighters do respect people who are in the trenches now. If you say something like, well, I did this 30 years ago, and 30 years ago, this is how we was doing it. Unless you done kind of upgraded that, you're not going to probably hold the interest. So what I love about it is that it could be a lot more organic in what we do because we're in the trenches now doing it. Right. So it's not only victories, but it's ongoing lessons learned. So it's a fluid, live discussion, if you will. And not necessarily we're lording over people. You need to do this and you need to do that. And you're a smart firefighter, you do this. It's based on like, hey, here's what we're doing today. Or here's what I did yesterday. Or I really bombed on this. So don't do that if but I got a lot of victory on this. I would suggest you try this or whatever. So that's what I love about being blessed on what we're able to do. We're able to deliver real time, real scenarios to you, to real people right now. So if you're interested in that kind of realness, come check us out on Thursday for the tightrope.
Outstanding.
Tightrope helps you master the tightrope.
Yeah, exactly. You said hope. Okay,
I like the rhyme.
You sure do. Yeah, you just had to make sure I heard you right. but anyway, if we start to wrap things up, Dave, you got any more to add to the kind of?
I'm excited about what's coming up, and I just want to encourage people to just always be trying to find ways to be the best individual, and then professionally, but personally also, because you bring that person to the profession and that professional nature to the person. You know what I mean? So try to meld those two things and be the best part of the team you can be, and encourage the other people to do that too, so that these teams can be better. Like we always say, the better individual makes a better team. The better team makes a better, company. Better company makes a better department. Better department makes a better fire service. Better fire service makes a better world. So we just gotta do it one person at a time. And so
Sure.
I appreciate y'all listening, and get well, Chief Rhodes.
Yeah.
Mom, what you got?
Well, I want to tell the chief to be praying for him to be recovering, because having something like what he sounds like he's having is probably very uncomfortable right now.
Right.
But the other thing is, I think you guys made some good points about, what your side of whatever that the first responders have to deal with.
Right.
And so sometimes, even when there's an issue, people need to remember that when you running in when everybody else is trying to run out,
Come
that
on.
needs to always be remembered. So
Right.
you give them, to know. That's what I like about this program, is the fact that you get to learn something that you may not have thought of, because you're thinking about it from the people's point of view, who's not in the rescuing or the coming in 2 minutes to help rescue people and things like that.
Right.
You might just want to always know that if something does go down, they're coming. They're coming, and they're coming with what they need, and they're coming to do what they need to do. And you should be, really kind of trying to do what you can to support whatever, from when there is no crisis.
Right.
So that's kind of what the takeaway I have for today for this, and also some of the humorous remarks too kind of helps lighten it up a little bit. Even though sometimes I'm embarrassed that no, I'm
No,
just
don't be
kidding.
that way, mommy.
No, no. You got.
Your children.
I want to just say
Okay.
you got that. You got it honest though. That's one thing
Right.
I can say. You got it honest, because that's how we like to get down. But no, for real, that tightrope thing though really is a couple of things that you said, but that one's really going to resonate with me. That's a takeaway.
That balance is key.
Yeah, it is. Yep. Just wrapping up the. I'm looking forward to it. It's weird because when FDIC ends, you're exhausted in a good way. You've had a great week. You've hung out at night. I can't hang out every night all the time because Uncle Larry got homework again this year. So, but I usually try to make an appearance and make sure that I see everybody, because there's nothing like it. And there are a few people who was at last year FDIC that won't make it back this year, and that can be sad too. So that's why you got to kind of celebrate and cherish everyone when you run into them. I mean, it's not unusual more now to see people giving each other a hug and, hey brother, how you doing? Let me buy you a beer, and we all gonna be eating here, and the gathering and the networking and the brotherhood and the sisterhood of the whole thing. The women's conference, Women in Fire, will be there at the beginning of the week, and they're going to have a great gathering and great conference as well. So for those of you who want to check that out, go check that out. The GEMS conference is going to be there. So FDIC is the granddaddy of the conferences. And let me also say this: as much as I love FDIC and as big as everything is, don't always wait to FDIC to go get your learn on. There are a lot of great conferences that the local, regional, that happen throughout the year. David and I just finished up at the fire school, went to fire school in Missouri, Columbia, Missouri, last month. I mean, it's very intimate setting, but some great learning, great people. And some of the people that you see teaching the staples at FDIC come to Missouri, come on down home and hang out and teach here. It's a great time, great crowd. And there's countless ones around the country. So I encourage you that don't just wait yearly for FDIC to learn and to get it going in your region, in your area, and let that kind of feed all those roads lead into FDIC. Because by FDIC being so big, you definitely will run into more people there. That's not just regional or local. You're gonna run into people more global. And some do. So if you're an East Coast person, maybe do regional East Coast stuff all the time, it might be a minute before you see the West Coast people. You know what I'm saying? So or the dirty South or the North or us in the Midwest. So FDIC a lot of times is a great way to bring everybody together from all regions. But what I'm saying, what I encourage you to do is, what's their local stuff look like? What's your regional stuff look like? What's your statewide stuff look like? Lean into that kind of stuff too. So by the time you come to FDIC or teach at FDIC or participate, let it be not new information, but confirmation of what you already are doing. Let it be that, have that kind of mentality. Because just think, if you had a relationship where you only saw your sweetheart once a year, how long you think that's going to last? So you gotta feed it. You got to feed in between the anniversaries. You got to feed it. The FDIC might be the anniversary, but you got to feed in between it, so you can be effective and efficient. You can be all in and be able to master these tight ropes as you go throughout your year. So, but like I said, I'm excited. I can't believe, you look like we just got through done with Christmas, and then around the New Year's Eve. That time I was up in New York. I had a great time in New York. I mean, I hate to give people their props, but I like to think that we got some of the baddest firefighters here in the Midwest, and we do. Believe me, I'm not taking away from that. But New York had to live up to it. I have to give them their props on that. And some of the stuff, we had dinner at Rescue 4. We went to visit my good friends down to Rescue 1 and headed out and got the tour with Frank Lieb and my good friend Aaron Morton out at the Randall's Island where they train, and I ain't never seen nothing like it, for real. I mean, it's a reason they number one, so I have to give them their props on that. But hey, I know how to fight fires too, so we get down here in the Midwest as well, so it's all good, But seriously, these were great times. But I could remember being in New York and seeing some of my buddies I would normally see at FDIC and thinking, man, FDIC is in April. It's going to be a little ways away. And now it's coming up in weeks now, a matter of weeks. So I can't wait to get there. I'll do my drive up. David's flying in from Atlanta. And we're going to have a great time, a great week. And check us out. David and I got a few surprises. David's coming that you'll check out. So we're gonna look sharp this year, brother. So I got a few surprises. So with the Conley brothers, we be in the house. So we can't wait to see all our friends in the speaker room and hang out and do some networking there and get out in these halls and shake some hands and kiss some babies. If they let us, Right. But after COVID, he ain't kissing too many more babies. Just like, hey, that's right. Love you, baby. So right. But seriously, can't wait to get there and do the networking thing. David and our show is going to be on Tuesday morning. So come by the setup for the radio show and check that out. We're gonna, if everything goes right, we should have both guests. We should have both keynote speakers. We should have Jason Hoverman and we should have Scott Thompson. So they both have confirmed that they will be on the show. So we're looking
Stay
forward to that
tuned.
conversation. Well, and
All
man, I'm
right.
telling you, man, it's a great lineup with them two. They 1-2 punch with those two. So
Mhm.
check it out.
Mhm.
Check it out. And um, I don't know what else to say about it. I ain't already said, but it's gonna be a great time. So
Yeah.
FDIC 2024, be there, be square. Still time to sign up. Get there. Mark your calendar for
Mm.
Yep.
Thursday tightrope. Ask for a little extra money from your agency. Come out Monday morning and see David with All In, and take that knowledge back and do something great for your department. We'll be after that show. Check us out. We got a new schedule, so I need to study that schedule. So
Mhm.
we'll be on the new schedule after FDIC. So I'm looking forward to that. But check us out after FDIC. We're going to be having some more great discussions. One of the things we're going to keep on bringing up is just mental fitness. We're going to continue to double down on the mental fitness and make sure that we good here as well as we're good here, and these two
Yeah.
match. We want them to
Yeah.
match. We don't want you to be so good here, but the deficit is physically being able to do your job. And we don't want somebody so physically able to do your job that mentally, you're not there. Either one
Yeah.
of them is not going to sustain you for a long, successful career that brings the
Mhm.
A game to our citizens. And at the end of the
Mhm.
day, that's what it's all about, right?
That's what it's
So
all about.
check us out at
All right.
www.glutenationdc.com. What's what? A little backwards
All
right
right
there. But
now.
LDC got the LDC logo right there. And check
Mhm.
us out.
Mhm.
See where we're gonna be in the world. And we got some. David got some great articles on the fire engineering website. Check that out. I think I got a few coming out around the May time frame. So check those
Mhm.
out. And hey, let me say this because I haven't said it in a long time. Thank everybody for your. I like to thank everybody for their support. I mean,
Yes.
David and I just two brothers who grew up in North St. Louis and raised by this woman right here, and she did the
Mhm.
best she could,
Yeah.
uh, but who knew? Who knew where we was going to end up? That
Mhm.
everybody's going to be gainfully employed and everybody's good and relatively good
Mhm.
health, and we just feel
Yes.
blessed. But we also feel more blessings that people like you who are listening to the show, watching the show, and part of and believe in what the Conleys are doing.
Mhm.
We appreciate you, and
Yeah.
continue.
Mhm.
We appreciate you, and we would love your continued support. But
Mhm.
thank you for letting us express our voice. Everybody has a voice. All these are great
Mhm.
podcasts. You're gonna have great instructors at FDIC. But one thing we realize that there's an abundance mentality. There's something for everybody, and
Yes.
there are people going to hear things better from maybe a Frank Viscuso than they hear from us,
Mhm.
or they're going to hear
Mhm.
stuff better from us than they hear better
Then they
from
get the
Frank Viscuso.
Mhm.
You see
Mhm.
what I'm saying? They're going to hear that maybe a leadership message from Hoverman that
Mhm.
it works for them. And if it helps them, that's great.
Mhm.
But some
Mhm.
people might say, well, Hoverman, I heard him, it was great, but it hit different when I heard it from David and Larry. You see what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
that's
Mhm.
that's that's the mosaic of the
You got
greatness of
something
what
for
we all
everybody.
do. It's something for everybody.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
it's just a compliment to all of us, and I'm just glad
Yeah.
to be part of that compliment. So
Mhm.
just want to say thank you for everybody's support. And thanks for the inboxes. Thanks for the even thanks for the critiques. Thanks for those too.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm. That's
um,
right.
thanks for it
Mhm.
all. So anyway, we'll see you at FDIC. After that, we'll see you on the air here. And stay safe, stay mentally safe, stay physically safe, and just stay
Mhm.
safe. And safe travels to and from the conference. And if you see me and David there, or I'm in college now. If you see David and I there,
Ooh, I did the best I could.
you did the best you could. But anyway, but you see us there, hey, stop us, holler at us, hey, what's up? And hey, this Let's have that moment in the hall. What's up, man? How you doing? Where you from? What you do? Answer what you're into. So who you be with? Things to make you smile. What numbers to that? I only want you to do that if you're at the club, though. but seriously, reach out to us and say hi. We'd love to meet you, especially if you're in our class. Yeah. In the packed house in our class. We really love. We love to see you. We love to see you there as well as the hall. So. Yeah, we want to look outside when everybody comes to class. We want to look outside. Boy, the hall is really empty. I wonder where everybody. Where is everybody? they're in the class, So no, but seriously, we'll see you there. So signing off, and we'll talk to you at FDIC, April 2024. Good night.
All right.